getting hurt. But it's like, you know, to run through a house and not bounce off the corners and make it look, you know, just desperate and scattered, and it's sort of like you're gonna bash yourself up. And I definitely did, you know. I was so proud of my bruises. Making it real was really important, you know. I didn't want to stay safe and make it look really lame, because it would have looked bad.
Oh, that's freaky.
Ooh, God.
I like that shot, though.
Now, you had to fall a lot in this stuff, too.
Yeah, you should see my back.
Yeah. And we had some green screens for some of the stuff she fell in, but I don't know, I think we did about a half dozen takes one day, and you fell from, like, the third, and I remember the stunt guys keep coming up and going, she can't go from that high, Bruce. I go, oh, I think she can.
Let's see if she can. Here, start at this one and then just, like, work your way up. I'm like, okay,
You were such a good sport. It does make a difference, I think.
There wasn't as much green screen as you would assume. I think we had two days. 2 days, yeah. Most of the stuff I'm reacting to, it was all practical. It was nice to have, because it wasn't, I mean, I wasn't always just responding to nothing. You know, we had the ghosts all made up, and when the house starts flipping out, we really had, you know, special effects guys breaking banisters.
This is great, though, by the way. This is a good performance on your part, Kristen.
Thank you.
This was great.
I was really nervous about that. I mean, to come in and just start the scene off with that, I mean, it's like, and plus I thought it was also kind of, I mean, it was a little not cliche, but like, come on.
I mean, the sliding shutting the door, backing up into the door,
exactly,
shutting it, sliding down.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's movies, and you killed it.
It's one of my favorite. I love this scene with John doing the. It felt like a different movie. I saw something again today. It was a girl. She was in the cellar. Something happened to her. She was trying to get away from something.
Get away from what?
I don't know. But she looked just scared to death.
Have you told your folks about this?
I mean, my parents already think I'm nuts. Do you think it's crazy? People's spirits hanging around after they're dead?
Well, there's something about the land out here. Gets a hold of people. Doesn't want to let them.
For those of you who don't know, there was a scene where bugs come and take over. And no one would know.
For everybody but us.
Kristen really sat there for, was it a day or two?
2 days.
With live centipedes and cockroaches, and
we'd lay a little area out where she could sort of perform in, and then but we would throw as many of these bugs around her, and just cups of them, and all the bug wranglers would just pour them around her, but immediately they'd start crawling toward you and on you.
Exactly. I mean, we really tried to keep a distance, but it did not work. And then at the end of the day, the dirt, I mean, and actually they were very protective of their bugs. They wanted to get as many back as they could. But God, the dirt was pulsating. They were just
burrow in
full.
it. Yeah.
They were all trained Hollywood actors.
Yeah. That is commitment.
The cockroaches, at least, were. They seemed to have sort of a higher spot on the totem
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
and they hung around for days after we cut them.
Oh my
cut them
God!
loose.
And
Just
started to
handing out
smell.
tiny little resumes.
Well, actually, at the very end of the movie, we were moving a pile of dirt from that set, and somebody shoveled something up, and all these little worms started crawling around.
God.
And that had been like weeks, so I'm sure they're still there.
I can't deal with that.
But not one cockroach was harmed in the making of this movie. The mealy worms, though, I don't think did so well.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Cockroaches were, God, they were huge. They
Yeah.
really had some armor.
And it's such a beautiful day. I remember this is one of the days that I just hung around after wrapping, just to.
Perfect breeze. Was
Yeah, the
blowing.
breeze was just beautiful. Although I got stung by a bee, which wasn't nice. It's a tale for a different movie. This is a perfect example of how this movie, I think, stands apart from other ones is that you have your scares during the day in a sunflower field, one of the brightest settings you could have.
Yeah, it's serene.
Well, it was done on purpose from this. I mean, from the very beginning, this was... I mean, if you look at some movies that are daytime movies where Mike Myers is introduced in Halloween, the opening of Jeepers Creepers, parts of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they're all daytime movies because you're so used to villains being introduced in the dark. And so there's more of a disconnect when you start and it's the middle of the day because it looks so incongruous. You're not used to seeing madness during the day. So it was a decision very early on that everything, and also of course Saskatchewan, sun goes down at like midnight, comes up at 5. So I mean, it tuned right into what we had been trying to do with the script.
Oh, you can totally see my wig here. I'm wearing a wig here, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's going on with the old...
With the hair?
Yeah.
With the do?
We painted it out in a number of shots.
You land a plane on that forehead. I mean, I didn't realize to wear a wig all day long, it's pretty awful.
Yeah, I've done wig work before. It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Especially I did wear a wig in a pool once. Not fun.
Ooh.
The other thing about the daytime that Mark's touching on is, yeah, you're right, it's out of context, so that's one thing, but it's again why the DP and the Pangs wanted to be able to do this really dark and light, and we're not seeing it so much on the screen, but it reads in the theater where the darks are just really dark, and so something creepy can be in those shadows, and you just won't see it until it comes out. And particularly in the house it plays, and in the barn it's a little more diffuse here. We lived in this barn too, and this really was a real barn that was moved from another location and put here permanently, and it really was straw that seemed like it had cow crap in it and everything else, and it really was dirty.
Yeah, rolling around in that was cool.
And Burwell's quarters are right off of that. There's no shot remaining in the film of that, but there's
which is too bad because
it's a great little set.
Looks really cool, like a cot and like little knickknacks, really creepy.
Yeah, antlers and like an old busted TV. Yeah, Burwell's area.
This was hard. I mean, to see something like that would be so... I don't know. I really wanted that to look good. It was hard to do.
Yeah, it worked.
Makeup did a great job, but the actors really were good too. I mean, just their body language, the way they moved, so... Ooh, it was really genuinely creepy. Because I think that the concept behind that ghost was that the reason he walked like that or crawled like that or whatever was because he had been bashed around every bone in his body had just been broken, and so he couldn't stand up straight or anything, so he really moved like a spider. That was probably the only thing in the movie that really, I mean, for me, really actually scared me.
Trouble in the family recently that would make her want to hurt or draw attention to herself?
We just moved here from Chicago. And back there, Jess got into some trouble. She's kind of struggled a bit.
We've been dealing with a lot of emotional issues.
Horror movies are something you really want to go to the theater and watch them with a big group on a weekend night. It's fun.
It's the ultimate form of entertainment. You just go and no matter how much you want to pretend you're not going to be scared of something, it always scares you, and that's just an enjoyment that you can't get a lot of places when it's not real. And the fact that, in horror movies you go and it's not real, but it just doesn't matter. And it's fun to watch because, the horror audience is becoming younger and also predominantly younger female. And the great thing about that is that young boys are as predictable as could be, that they'll go wherever young girls are. So
I can
it's
vouch
just
for
fun,
that.
right?
So
but
true.
But it's fun to watch. Is that young girls are driving the horror audience, and the movies are doing so well because anytime young girls go somewhere, you're going to double your audience because young boys will follow.
It is kind of that sort of where in the old days in Hollywood, all the movies, it's like an event to go and see it, and now with horror, like you can. And comedy as well, it's kind of one of the only things where everybody's going there and everybody's going for sort of the same group sensation, which is to be completely terrified.
Mom, these things attacked me.
Enough! The doctor said your cuts look self-inflicted. That's what he said, that you did this.